person. Okay, must be on the right spot. There we go. Hi, Terry. Hi, Susan. Oops, that's right. Okay. Sorry, I was trying to make sure I was on because it was looking a little weird. Hi, everybody. Thank you all for joining me today. So, I only have one of that. Hope everybody is doing well. Okay. We're good. I just want to cut one thing before we start because I realized I am out of the pearlescent paper. And that's what I was going to use for something for today. So I'm trimming it down because I have a plan on what I want to do with it, but I only have a little strip. So we're going to use these little strips and make do with what we have. And then I'll just need to order some more. Okay. I also want to show you a card I created. It's a little of a teaser for my recent February club that I did. And so I did, for February, I did all fun folds. I don't want to share any of them because that wouldn't be fair to the people that purchased it, but I did make a card that was similar. So if you still would like to get the February club, it is 6 fun fold cards. None are the same. It's 6 unique fun fold cards, varying in degrees of difficulty, but for the most part, as long as you follow the video instructions, they're very simple. Each one has a video and a full color PDF. And then the last video has extra ideas, card ideas, and I also posted on the last PDF pictures. So this is one of the cards. Again, this is not the exact card, so that's a little hard to see with the lighting there. But this is a flip fold card. So I actually used the Forever Fern bundle. So I think it's called Forever Greenery, the suite. But I used shaded spruce, and then I used soft seafoam. There's a layer, kind of hard to see there. And then white, basic white. Still having trouble saying that, but it's a really fun card. It does use a little bit larger of a piece of cardstock. So this is kind of what it looks like when it's fully opened, and then this part swings in the middle. So it doesn't fit in a regular envelope. You could put it in maybe a 5x7 envelope. If you have an envelope punch board, you could make your own envelope. So you still, as long as you use a 5x7 envelope and it's not a square envelope, you can still mail this with one regular stamp. But anyway, just thought I'd share that with you. So there is a spot on my blog where you can purchase that, and I will email it to you. It's videos and PDFs. It's very easy, and you can buy this no matter where you are in the world because there's no physical product. It's just the videos and the PDF. But I just want to tell you all, thank you so much for your thoughts. I did have a very sore and achy Thursday after my shot. I really hydrated probably for 4 days before getting it, but I'm feeling 100% today. Yesterday I did go to school and I felt really disconnected all day. Like I took cold medicine and I was still not sure what was going on, so luckily I was just hanging in there. But by the end of the afternoon, I started to feel better. So I feel completely better today. And no matter what, I'm sure it is 5,000 times better than getting COVID because, yeah. But anyway, what I thought we would do today, I actually have a couple different ideas, is use the Forever Fern bundle along with the Pinewood Planks folder. And I know we have some other things that I have never used, and I'm not sure. Are they handy? Because I wanted to get them out, and I forgot. Let me just take a peek here. Yep, here they are. So with that suite, there's also these gold hoops. I'm fairly certain you can still get these, but this is a DSP that will be retiring. So keep that in mind. The papers very, very, very rarely ever carry over from catalog to catalog. As a matter of fact, I think the only one that did one time was the wood pattern DSP, which was beautiful. But thankfully, we did end up getting a Good Taste, which had another really reverse, nice wood, like various wood sides to it. So if you love this paper, You probably should get it before they announce the retirement list because, again, the DSPs very, very, very rarely ever carry over because they'll add new ones or new patterns or whatever. Also, Terracotta Tile, Pretty Peacock, Seaside Spray, Purple Posy, and Rococo Rose are going to be retiring. So if you need to get a ink refill or a re-inker, you might want to do that now because they are definitely going, I'm fairly certain Purple Posy is going by the wayside, which that one doesn't have an ink refill. So that was kind of a me anyway. But I'm hoping somehow Seaside Spray or Pretty Peacock or Terracotta Tile might, I don't know if they would somehow bring them into the mix, but basically they have in colors that last 2 years. And so the ones, Cinnamon Cider, those, they still will last for another year, but they'll be bringing out 5 new ones. And I'm really excited because for me, it's kind of nice because it gives you complementary colors. So I'm really hoping somehow we come out with like a different type of a blue. Like we need something darker than Night of Navy, in my opinion. So I'm hoping there's a really dark blue. That would be super. I really loved Blueberry Bushel. That was a beautiful color. Even though it was a little brighter, it was beautiful. And I would really like a different type of an orange, which I know sounds crazy. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to work with our Forever Fern. Probably not going to use any of the retiring in colors just because they don't really go with the scheme. You probably could work Pretty Peacock in, but I don't want to mess it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of embossing with the embossing folder. We're going to make at least one card, and I'm trying to make, I'm using, this is the other thing I want to show you. I got 2 other stamp sets. As a matter of fact, I just mounted one to make this card that I showed you. I mounted the Happy Birthday stamp. So bear with me, neither of these are mounted, but here's a card which has some great sentiments and also has some great inside sentiments because sometimes I like to write what I write and I write way longer than probably what I should write, but some people don't. Some people like to just have something stamped and then they could just say like, I love you a lot or thinking of you or whatever. And then the other one I got is Happy Thoughts. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is Jackie Bolhuis's $1 million stamp set. I love her. She makes such simple cards. If you guys haven't watched her, she really does make beautiful cards and they're all really easy. Occasionally she'll make a very complicated card, but she likes to do simple cards. So these are all really simple greetings, like a great grouping of greetings to have in your stamp arsenal for any time. Thank you, thinking of you, happy birthday, congratulations, because lots of it. And then the other one is one of the stamp sets that you could even use on the front is just wanted to send some happy thoughts your way. That would be a great one, and then you could write something nice on the inside. So this is going to be our sentiment today, so we're not going to really use the Forever Fern sentiments. We're probably just going to use the stamped images and most likely the dies. So let me move my scissors out of the way and my ruler, and I have kind of all this stuff out on my desk because I don't know what DSP we're going to use. I figured I would leave that up to you all. So I'm going to flip you over. Oh yeah, Klompen Stampers, that is her name. She really does beautiful cards, doesn't she? So if you get a little sick, just look away for a moment. I'll tell you when we're still. I love Jackie's cards too because she kind of shows you, okay, we're all situated. She shows you how to make a lot of cards with not a lot of stuff, which I can totally appreciate because I think sometimes we get completely overwhelmed with the amount of things that we have, and sometimes that makes everything much, much easier. Okay, so here I have just the scraps of my pearlized paper. So I actually should keep this out so I remember to order one. So right now I only have these 2 pieces that are clean, and I think these are 2 inches. Just a little shy. It's like 1 3/4 inches by 5 1/2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up putting these together and then embossing them, and then we'll put this on. I might actually even glue them to a thin piece of something just so they have a little backing. And I have my hoops, although I don't know if I'm going to use that or not. And since I used this on the other card, I figured we could use something different. The flip side of this is really kind of pretty too if you wanted a very non-specific card base, but honestly I love the fern side so much better. I have a hard time sometimes with some of these even using the opposite side. This also is another really beautiful piece, and I thought we could either go for something very like subtle with these leaves or with these, and this is the other side, not my favorite again. So we have A, B, or C. So if you guys give me a choice there, I'm going to pick out some paper. I think I'm going to use for this one, I think I'm going to go light. I almost want to use Old Olive, but I think it might be too light. So I think I'm going to go with soft seafoam, and we're just going to use a regular base, and then we'll add a layer of something to it. And I think I might go with pear, depending, because that kind of picks up a lot of these subtle colors. It doesn't for A. So let me slide my comments over. I see a lot of C's. All right, we're going to do C, so I'm going to stick with this. Move this over. I was going to say mint, but I knew Donna was going to turn off the video if that was the case. All right, thank you guys all for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. I'm sorry, I would have tried to go live last Saturday. I didn't even think about the fact that I was having the vaccine on Wednesday, and that would make me a little bit low energy on Thursday. So it's okay. I guess a day late is better than not at all, right? Or 2 days late, I should say. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I think I need to trim this a little bit. I don't think that's 4 1/4. Nope. See, that's the funny thing about when you've been paper crafting for a long time. You can look at a paper and realize what size it is. It's really tremendously helped my math and life measuring skills. I'm going to score this at 5 1/2. So this will be our base. This is soft seafoam. So 4 1/4 by 11, score at 5 1/2. And then I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to start with 4 by 5 1/4. Depending on where we go, I really don't know exactly what I want to do with this, but it might be a couple layers. So that looks nice because it's still pretty soft combo. And then I still want to bring in that little DSP piece. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. This is, this was a full sheet, but I cut off 4 inches. So I'm going to just do the same to keep it easy for myself for future cards. So I have a 4 by 12 piece. That's what this one is as well. So I'm going to cut this down to 5, and then I'm going to trim this to 3 3/4, which the nice part about some of these with the DSP, I can even save this little strip. We could use it maybe for the inside. But the nice part about a lot of these are they really give you a lot of visual interest without a lot of work. And this one I really love the other side of. I think it's so, so pretty. And I did say before I need to replace my cutting blade. I can see I still have a ledge here. In case you do that, I want to just show you one thing. It's not going to matter because we're not using the other side. But if you ever get this little ledge here, what you can do is just take your bone folder and just run right down the edge, and it will almost totally smooth it out for you. So it has completely erased that edge. That way, if you just, like me, you keep forgetting to change your blade for whatever reason. So let's just take a peek at this and see, make sure we like it. So what I want to do, I mean, maybe I might only actually use, I feel like if I use one, it's just not going to be enough. I feel like I want a little, like a 3 by 4 piece. So what I might end up doing is embossing. I'm going to put both of these on a piece of card stock, something thin, and I'm just going to run them through. What does that measure? That's 3 1/2 by 4. Okay, here's what I'm going to do, because I'm trying to make this, so basically, like, if you have scraps, you can still make whatever it is you want to make. You might just kind of have to fiddle your way through making it. So I have a piece of, let's see if these are going to fit on here, piece of white, and it's going to be a little bit short, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is, if I have any type of, I'm not really big into using the Stampin' Seal or the Seal Plus, only because sometimes they don't work for me the way I want them to. So I'm just going to do my best to line this up here on the edge. So what I'm essentially doing is just trying to make one piece of paper out of 2 strips. But I'm not really a huge fan of the Stampin' Seal or the Stampin' Seal Plus, but it'll work for what we need. Okay, so I have just mounted these to a piece of cardstock that I can run through. Okay, you can see they're still not fully on there, but once we run this through, they should be fine. So I'm going to put this, and I think I want them to go vertically. So I'm just going to put this in here so the grain runs vertical instead of horizontal. And I want the raised side to be on the pearlescent side. So I'm going to kind of just pick a spot and line this up, and I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. Let me see. What do I need? Need my other plate. So I'm going to use my original plate. And this one is a Sizzix, so I think I need the blue. Nope, the blue is the not one. I think it's this one. I think it's just one. Let me take a peek. I'm going to put this in and see if it cranks. Yep, just one. So, just as a little quick lesson again there, if you have the Stampin' Up! And they still have Sizzix on them, you need your regular base plate and just one acrylic pad. If it doesn't say Sizzix, then you would use the base plate and the blue plate. So I know it still can be a little confusing, but dang it, I did it the opposite way, but that's okay. But now you can hardly even tell that it's more than one panel. The only thing is I didn't line it up exactly straight, but that's no biggie. Hopefully the card will be pretty and people won't even realize what they're looking at, right? All right, so I have this, and I'm going to trim this down. And I'm going to just take a look at this one more time. So we're just kind of like making a card that we're kind of piecing together. I don't really want to say it's out of scraps because the rest of it isn't scrap, but part of it is kind of scrappy. Here's my button folder. Okay. This. And this. And I feel like it just really needs a rectangular piece. So 4 inches should be good by 3. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this down. 2, 3. So I'm going to just cut off this side here by 4. All right, that'll be nice. And then we're just going to put a sentiment on here as well. Okay, so that's the only other thing we have to do. So this piece is a little wonky, but we could always use this for something else if we needed to. It doesn't have, you can kind of see a line where the embossing changes because of the lack of paper on the other side. So it kind of depends if you felt like you wanted to cut that off or not. But you could even just trim it so it was one kind of even piece there. And then you have a nice strip that you can add to something. I'm going to be honest with you. You could put a sentiment on top of there. Nobody would know. It really wouldn't matter. And then there still is this other little strip that was attached here that came off. So you could use this for something as well. So I'll probably keep those and maybe make a different card. All right. So we kind of have our idea of our base layer, right? This we kind of saved for the inside. We could even maybe put this on the inside too. We'll have to see. And the only other thing is we need to add a sentiment. So I tend to make a lot of thank you cards because I send them out for my purchases as a thank you for ordering through me. So I like to do thank you, but I also have noticed that I haven't had a whole lot of happy birthday stamps, or cards I should say. So I'm going to do this one as a birthday. And the only thing I may do, and again, I apologize because I do have to mount this. The only thing I may do is I might die cut this with a So Sentimental die because I really, really like them. They're really, really great dies. Just for like a nice different shape. Okay. And if you've never mounted these before, I do have 2 videos on my YouTube page that shows you how to mount these really, really simply. So if you don't know how to mount them, I would highly suggest checking that out. So I think since we have this pearlescent paper, I don't really know what white will look like. I feel like it might be a little too shocking. So I think I'm actually going to use vanilla. And just because I don't use it all that often, I think I'm even going to use thick vanilla. Only other thing is I'm going to look at my happy birthday, and these are the So Sentimental dies. So we could do something that wasn't too big. That will fit on there nicely. So I think I'm going to use this as my stamp. And then I'm going to stamp something else, just a small something, maybe even like this little dot image or the leaf image, just to bring in the Forever Fern part. And I have to fix these dies because they keep falling all over the place. So I'm going to pull out this small one and the little speckles. Okay, that and that. So I don't know if anyone else is experiencing the spring fever that we are experiencing, but we had one nice day this week and I'm totally ready for winter to be 100% over. I don't know about any of you. Let me just see. Yep, that lines up nicely in there. So happy birthday I did in Shaded Spruce, and then I'll kind of do something lighter. So I will do the little speckles with Old Olive, and then I think I'm going to do the little leaf image with Soft Sea Foam because it's a really, really light color. I mean, it's almost so light on the vanilla, you really don't see it too much, which is nice because occasionally I'll stamp this and it covers up the sentiment just a little too much. Thanks everybody for joining me. I appreciate it. Okay, I think that's good. I don't want to overpower it with that. Just wipe these off. I did clean my blocks the other day with my, I cleaned out my whole Stampin' Scrub. I didn't do it in the dishwasher, although I heard that is a great technique. I think Cindy shared that with me, but I forgot to do that, if we're being honest. But I cleaned it with my EnviroCloth, my Norwex EnviroCloth, and oh my gosh, I was looking over, they are so sparkling clean. It is just crazy. It was really funny. Okay, so I'm going to put that there, and we're going to die cut this. Okay, so we just really have this one other thing to die cut, and then we'll see if we can add in that ribbon or if it's going to be too much. Super excited. We'll get to see. I almost feel like I might need to add something else underneath of that, you know, like a darker piece of something. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. This is another thing you can do while we're at it. I'm going to die cut the same thing with, do I have a piece, scrap piece? Shaded Spruce. So I'm just going to put this on here so it's kind of close to the end. And that way it has just a little something for the backing. It doesn't need a whole lot of anything. All right, let me move these over. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to just cut this in half and off-center half of it. And you could certainly use your trimmer if you wanted to, but I'm just going to eyeball cutting it in half. Okay, just like that. Grab my silicone mat. And I just want to look at it just to make sure I like what it looks like. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to just put some liquid glue on each side. That way I can kind of piece it into place where I want it. So I'm going to do one at a time. Just like so. Just so there's a little bit of something. Only thing is, I did this not that long ago. Make sure you hold it. Give it a second for it to dry. Hi, Debbie. I hope you're doing well. My fame friend. I don't think I ever will see your name and not think of fame. Unless I forget things later in life. Excuse me, it's dry in here. Okay, so there's that. So I think it'll give it a little bit of something. And then, where is my package of little hoops? Oh, Lordy B, I lost them. They have to be around here somewhere. Here they are. Upside down. I haven't used these, so I got these last year, you can see. I was super into them, but I think I just didn't know what to do with them. So I'm just going to pull one out. We can somehow put this into the something or other. We could always add something to it. I don't know what, but here's what we're going to do. You could even, if you wanted to go another step, emboss this, but this would be great if you embossed it with either the subtles or the textured textiles folder, because it would just be just a little bit enough that you could see it, but not overpowering that it took away from the card. All right, so we're going to just layer these on. So again, excuse me, this was Pear Pizzazz, and Pear Pizzazz is layered onto Soft Seafoam. And we have our DSP panel. And this can kind of go whatever way you want, depending on if you are have a preference with your directionality of your paper. I also think this would make a really nice card if you were doing a sideways card instead. So if you're doing one that opened this direction, but I would need to change my wood grain. So we have this piece, and I'm going to put this piece down because I think I'm going to pop some of this stuff up. Now, when you have something that you've embossed, especially because we put this onto another piece of paper since I was paper piecing, definitely make sure with the emboss layer that you have a good amount of glue, because it has a lot of crevices it has to fit into. So just give this a hold for a second. Hi, Pam, Lois, Luann, Charlene. See everybody's names popping up. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today. All right, this is going to go on dimensionals, and then somehow I'm going to just kind of put this in here in the background. I am going to use, I think, just a little bit of liquid glue with this, but I'm going to kind of hold it in place with the dimensionals. So you'll see what I mean in a minute. Hopefully you will anyway, if I do it the way I think I'm going to do it. Because what I'm thinking is if we put this up here, kind of this dimensional, let's see, where's the other one here? We'll hold it so it can't really move. So once this is in place, it really won't be able to go anywhere. But what I'm going to do, just to be sure, is I'm going to put some liquid glue on the back of my dimensionals. That way I kind of have a little wiggle room if I need to adjust it a little bit. Okay, and then I'm just going to very carefully, because I don't want it to goop, just put a little bit of glue around, and I'm just going to use my pinky just to spread it. That way it doesn't get too out of control. So I'm going to set this here. Now I'm sure because of this little gold hoop, you are definitely going to probably need some extra postage on this, because it is going to take it up a layer. It's going to be a little heavier. I probably should have moved just this one dimensionals in a weird spot. See if I can pull this off and put it here. Oops. Oh, bugger. Hold on, I'm going to kill that one. Let's see. Here, it needs to be one right here. Okay, let's see. Can fit that in. There we go. Okay, so we have a dimensional here, which once you push these dimensionals down, they do really stick on there. So we have one here that's going to prevent this. I don't want to move it because it is adhered. It'll prevent it from moving around. But I think that's very pretty, and it's sad it took me this long to use those gold hoops, but I think it's a really pretty card. So then for the inside, so we have happy birthday. What else do we have over here? I like that one. I can't begin to count all the times we've laughed together. Let's add that on the inside, and then we'll add those two little strips. Okay. Sorry, it's a hazard of having unmounted stamps. You don't know exactly where they are. Take this off. I'm just going to pick this up. And I'm going to do this in Shaded Spruce. You could even stamp that little, the little dotty pattern on here if you wanted to add a little something to it, but I'm just going to stick with the sentiment. I want to make sure it's facing the correct direction. So there's that. And then what we'll do, move that over, is add this piece on the side, and we can add this piece kind of layering over it. So just a little something. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but since we have this piece, we might as well use it. A little skinny strip. I'm going to miss the bottom there because I am going to have to trim, and I'm just going to line this up right with the edge. I don't want it to be in the fold, so you want to make sure it's down just a teeny bit, but you want it to be right at the edge. Okay, and then I'll do the same with this one, and I'm going to keep it on the same side. You could flip, but I think it'll be nicer this way. And this one, it is a little bit shorter, so I'm going to make sure I have glue all the way to both ends. And then just kind of layer this piece. So it has a little kind of equal gap at the top and the bottom. Okay, just like that. And then all I'm going to do is take my scissors and just nip off this little piece here. And there you have just a little something. I just want to make sure I press this so it doesn't move. There we go. So just a little something. If you don't like it, you could layer it. You could also move it over so it kind of lined up next to it if you don't like the on top part. But I think it's a pretty card. Let me just give this one more fold since I did that. But it's a very nice card, which I like a lot. Really, really simple. So let's try and do one more kind of a quick card since it's pretty early. It's only 10:03, so it's only been a half hour. I'm not going to use the same piece though. We do have a couple others that we can make just a really simple couple cards with. So let's just do this. And I had someone comment on an older video that I had about using or doing lots of cards fast. So this one's kind of nice because that has nice both sides. Actually, that one does too, but we're going to use this one. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. And these are going to kind of just be quick cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to cut it to 6 by 6. So just cutting it in half, and then again in half. Alright, so we have a 6 by 6 piece. So what you can do is you can cut this at 3 inches, or actually I'm going to do this instead first. I'm going to cut 2 inches off. And which way do we want to go? 2 inches this way, and we can have a vertical. And then let's do that. I'm going to cut 2 inches off of here. So we'll have this piece. And then this will be 4 by 6. I'll cut this at 3. So we'll make 3 quick cards out of this. So I will use, actually I think that might be Pretty Peacock. Let's see what that looks like. Because if it is, that'll kind of wrap in nicely. Yeah, so we'll use Pretty Peacock. We'll use Pretty Peacock for all 3. So, see that? I fibbed. We are going to use Pretty Peacock today. This is probably one of my favorite colors that could potentially be retiring. That makes me sad. So I'm going to score 2 of these at 4 1/4. And I'll cut this at 5 1/2. And then I'll score the other one the other way because I definitely want to make one tall card. I'm going to score this one at 5 1/2. And 4 1/4. I know it's retiring, but you know, every once in a while they do carry a card color over, so maybe I'll get lucky and this will be one of the ones. Alright, so again, these will be super simple. We're just going to have one layer. So I wanted one, this one I'm going to need to trim, I know. One like that. You can do one this way and one this way. Alright, so we don't need this space. And we could either bring in a different green. We could stick with Pretty Peacock. I'm going to get Pretty Peacock out just for the heck of it. Garden Green might be good. know how shaded spruce would look with this. Now I think it's a little too bright. You could also always go with Old Olive as well. So since my garden green's a little wonky, I'm going to stick with Old Olive. So these are going to be my two colors. And then I'll bring in Pear Pizzazz just in case I want to add a little bit of something to the card. So we'll make these all really simple. We're going to just pick 3 sentiments. I'm going to stick with Happy Birthday because I could always do a Happy Birthday card. We'll do a thank you and a thinking of you. I'll go back and mount these after the fact. Again, you can always add something to the inside. We have lots of inside, and I'm going to keep this little flourishy thing. I don't know what you want to call it, like the dots. And use this one. Need a little bigger stamp. Here we go. Okay. All right, so I'm going to just do these just to make them pretty simple with white. So I'm going to do Happy Birthday for 2, and then for 1 I will do Old Olive. So Happy Birthday. I don't think I have enough scrap on there to do more than 1. I'll do Thinking of You. And Thank You. This one I'll do with Olive. This is one of the ones I must not have pressed in when I re-inked it because I can still see the lines. Let's try that again. Okay. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and add my little Pear Pizzazz fancies. Oh my heavens. I must have been in a hurry whenever I re-ink some of these because you can clearly still see all the lines from my re-inker. Maybe this is when I did a whole bunch of them. Okay, and then I'm also going to do a little bit of leaf one. One of these. Let's see. I kind of like the fact that the leaf stamps they really don't overpower your words. Just the stamps, they're very photorealistic looking. I love the stamps. I think they are so pretty. All right, so all I have to do now is cut out these 3 sentences once again and use my So Sentimental. And what I'm going to do is just mix, because for a couple of them I'll use stitched scalloped rectangle. That way just die once. We'll do a Thinking of You. And a little too big. Let me go to the scallops. This might be a little bit too big because of the way I cut my paper here. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to show you something. This will be the only one we do twice. So I'm going to bring this in like this, and I will show you. What I'm going to do is partial die cutting. So I'm going to die cut this, but then I'm going to go back and match it up with this end. So I'll show you how that is. And then we'll just assemble these cards. And they should go together fairly easily. So I'm going to pop those 2 in. And this one. I'm going to run these all through. This one I'll just have to run through twice. So this is also a good way if you're looking for a custom size of a die that maybe we don't have, because I know on occasion I've had a stitched rectangle that I was like, gosh, I wish we kind of had the in-between size. So this is kind of a good way to do that. So there's one. Here's 2, and I like the fact that these stitch as well. It gives like an extra nice detail. There's those 2, and then this one we're just going to do again. So the only thing you kind of have to do is you're going to have to sort of line up your stitching, but you can see you have it on both sides here, so you really just need to add in that 3rd side. So what I kind of do is just eyeball so the stitching matches up. So you can kind of almost feel that it sets into place. And then I do like to put a little piece of tape just to make sure it doesn't overcut. But you want to turn this. And I should have mentioned that. You want to turn this because you only really want to die cut this end. So it can be kind of at the end, but I'm just going to put it just like that. So basically it's only die cutting this portion. So you just have to be a little bit more careful when you feed it in. And I'll show you what I mean. So it should, if it went correctly, I've removed just that little end. So I did overstitch this one little spot, but nobody besides us is probably going to even notice that. Probably could have lined it up a little bit more particular, but just eyeballing it. It's pretty good. Now we're just going to add in these 3. One other thing you can do, I want to show you. If you want to add just a little some fancy one of these, and I'm going to grab, what is this? It's Grand Apple. I don't want that one. Old Olive. I'll just grab that one just to show you what I mean. So, if, excuse me, if you want to add just a little something for one of these, we do have the 2 ribbons. There's this one, and then there's also a gold. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little length of it. I'm going to take my light Old Olive Stampin' Blend and just kind of go over it. And I really only need a little piece because I'm just going to add a little thing into it. Do want to give this a second to dry. That's the one thing you have to do because otherwise it won't stick well. So in the meantime, just going to reinforce these. Gotten so used to there. Yeah, I feel pain on that one. So you definitely are going to need a white layer or cream layer or something on the inside of these cards. Otherwise, whatever you write, you're going to have to either write in white or in invisible ink. So we have that one and this one. And then this one we were going to do lengthwise. Okay, so just to make it easy, I am going to pop all of these up on dimensionals only because it doesn't really have a whole lot of jazziness to it. So the dimensionals will add a little bit of jazz. So we'll do the same thing again. You probably could use a little bit less in the dimensional department, but kind of sometimes I feel like when I do that, I discount it. So I'm just going to trim off this little piece that we colored. There's one. And I don't really know how the vanilla will look against the white. That's the reason I dyed it. So we can always take a peek at that too. But what we're going to do is we'll start with this one. And this is going to need to be trimmed. So we'll just kind of look at that one looks good. I'm just going to glue this down. Kind of leave yourself a clean space at the bottom because you know you're going to have to trim. And I'm centering mine a little bit over to the left, probably because I'm right-handed. You could do it either way. Just make sure it lines up straight. Looks good. Okay. Just flip this over. Give this a trim. You could do it with your paper trimmer too if you wanted to. Give that a trim. And I think just with this as it is will look nice. If you wanted to, you could add a hoop, or you could even add a piece of ribbon, maybe coming out the top. Oh, another thing that would be kind of cool, and I've done this before, and I should have mentioned this. This always looks neat too. If you take a piece of, so take a little length of the gold. This is the other one that goes with that. And I'm going to show you what I mean. I might have gotten a little bit adventurous with my gold. I probably didn't need 4 loops. I'll cut that in half. Okay. I'm going to bring it just a little bit like that. Okay, so most likely these are held in place by one of the 4 dimensionals that are under there. If you wanted a little extra insurance, you could put a little glue underneath, but there's just a little bit of ribbon there to make it a little extra special. So that's one. The second one, I'm just going to glue this down. So these are probably closer, a little bit closer to a Jackie Bullheist style because she's just cut some stuff up and is layering it together. This piece. And then what I think I'm going to do for this one is add that piece of ribbon, and that'll just be under here. So what I'm going to do is, because we do have this dimensional field here, I'm going to put a little bit of glue. Put this down. You could always kind of do a mini glue dot if you wanted to as well. So I'll do that for the second layer. You could have attached the first one with that as well though. I'm gonna fold it over. Now, just because I want it to be even and I want to make sure it doesn't go anywhere, I'm gonna put one more dimensional right there. Okay, oops. All right, so there's that, just a little something there. And then for the last one, we'll make this one really simple. The only thing we'll add on this is we'll put a little bit of, I really like those faceted gems. So we'll just put a couple of those on here just to make it slightly more special. And I'm gonna off center this. Probably should have straightened that a little bit, but pressed it now, too late. Okay. Thinking of you. And these are the elegant faceted gems. I love these. They're so pretty. And as a matter of fact, I think these just will bring a little teeny bit of pink into it. These are something that I hope carries over because these are really super pretty. Oh my goodness, Rach, come on, get your little putty thing out. It works better when you do it that way. 1, 2. Trying to kind of semblance them into somewhat of a... Oh no, this one lost its glue dot. That's not good. Let's try that again. There we go. Somewhat of a triangle, because things apparently look better when they are in 3s and in a triangular kind of shape. So we used a little bit of different stuff for those. Nothing really was too extravagant, but you still got a little bit of kind of a stepped up feel with really not too much effort. Let me move these out of the way, and I will bring all the cards back in for you to take a peek at. Remember, these are those, I feel like everything in that suite is somehow linked to being forever something or other, but these are the 2, I'm fairly certain, that go with that bundle. It's been so long ago. So they come as a combo. Okay, let me move this. Glue dots. So we have our 1 card that was kind of stepped up, a little bit more complicated. And then we have 3 simple cards that we kind of brought along with it. A little bit mixing and matching with some of our stamp sets. Again, I do really recommend these. First of all, so sentimental. This is great for the dies and for the words. This is a great bundle. I like Forever Fern because the stamps are really photorealistic, and then I still have not done too much with these dies. I really could have done way more. The dies are fabulous because they also die cut other little parts, which are great. But here's a card and Happy Thoughts. They're 2 wonderful greeting stamp sets. I like so many of these. This is one of my favorite one though. It's all messy. Because I think that is 100% true, especially this past year. And then there's also little things that you can add to make this special. So we have the gold trim on this one. This one we just colored that ribbon with our light old olive Stampin' Blend. We have our faceted gems. This one also has a little bit of embossing. So lots of fun with these cards. Really not too much effort for 4 cards. I mean, you figure that was 4 cards that I had no idea what I was going to make, and we made them in about 40 minutes. So that's not too bad. So I hope you all enjoyed this today, and thank you again for joining me. I do appreciate every one of you. If you are watching this on the replay, I can only unfortunately pull comments off of YouTube for contest purposes anyway, because it's really, really complicated to do it on Facebook. So if you head over to my YouTube channel, once this hits the replay, we're going to start a new month challenge with March 2021 is going to be our new one, because I know I did a different one last week and I have to draw the winners for that. Plus I have my February winners to wrap up. So March 2021, if you're watching this on YouTube as the replay, or if you're watching this on Facebook and you're going to head over there to check the replay, I don't get a lot of comments there. So there's a huge chance for you to win. I thank you guys so much for joining me. If you'd like to get any of these supplies and more, you can head to my online store, rachthestamper.stampinup.net. There are lots of great ideas over there as well, and I have lots of ideas on my blog too. So if you are interested, you can head over to my blog, which is rachthestamper.com. I truly appreciate you guys watching, sharing, liking, comment, all of your support. It does not go unnoticed, and I do appreciate every one of you joining me every single time you do. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next Thursday, if not sooner, at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Take care.